I hit start streaming. We should be live. It's gonna be a little weird. People are gonna have to trickle back, and hopefully they do. That really stinks. Apologies, everybody, for that. But OBS just killed my stream, which wasn't dope. That was not dope. That was the first time I've ever seen that happen. Um, but yeah, we are back though, and you know what? We're not talking about Trepang. I think Trepang killed my stream. We're not talking about Trepang 2. Mike says what happened. I don't know, dude. I was streaming. We were talking about Trepang 2, and I got like a thing on my OBS. It said something about the NVIDIA encoder, and I wasn't really paying attention. I was just kind of in the conversation, and I hit OK, and it just killed the stream. But
Just yeeted that shit.
yeah, we're back up. We're back up. Shivery's here. Oh my God, Shivery, what's up? How are you doing, sir? Mike says OBS killed my RAM and OBS killed your stream. Yep, that's. I mean, hey, it's fickle. It's very very fickle, but it is what it is. We're back up. Everything's cool. But we, I mean, honestly, I just want to talk about
Good to see you
Starfield.
too, Shiv. Asshole.
Well, let me bring up this because I think there's one other thing, but we're gonna be talking about Starfield. No, we'll get to this last thing in a little bit. But I mean, it's fair to say your first impressions of the game are pretty glowing, like pretty glowing for this game.
For Trepang?
No, for Starfield.
Oh, we're talking about Starfield now. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, we moved on from Trepang. Trepang killed my
You
stream.
don't want to talk about Trepang anymore.
Shit killed my
All
stream.
right, fair enough. All right, yeah, it's a stream killer. But I mean, obviously, Starfield is just so goddamn good. But I'm just scared to talk about it too much because each time we talk about it, it just kind of ends up at a roadblock where it's just like
You can't talk
I don't
about
want
it
to
all the
spoil
way.
anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I want to ask the question because you guys talked about it on your show on Tuesday.
See Shiv. He's tripping.
Oh, Shiv. What's he saying?
He
Love
said,
you, him. Don't be jealous. That's great. You guys talked about it on your show yesterday, where Loke asked, "Do you think that this game is like a game of the generation kind of thing?" And I liked your answers. You also brought up Cyberpunk, and he was pushing back on that, and I didn't really understand that. But God bless him, it is what it is. But I'm asking you the same question now. Do you think this has the potential to be a game of the generation?
100%. When and I say that with confidence because when I bought the premium edition, it was for its first DLC,
Oh yeah, first,
right?
first.
For its first DLC. And after now getting as far as I got into the story, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that if they just keep going down this rabbit hole, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a real problem because the decisions that you make and the way that I feel like they're setting up the end game and even taking advantage of what I was talking earlier with the new game plus,
Yeah,
like you won't really understand what I'm saying right now until you get to where I'm talking about.
yeah. And it's
Like,
gonna. There's so
yeah,
many different ways you can get to where he's at too. So what he's experienced, what I've experienced, like you could experience something entirely different. You could come to the same thing and have the same conclusion as him, but with like a whole different group of things. And it's nuts. It is nuts. I like Silent
I'm
Cipher.
blown away by like the way that they made it like cohesively kind of gel to the like you get to this point like everybody else differently, but you then have a moment of looking in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to leave it like that. You have a mirror moment in the game, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about too.
It's like
It's
a moment of happiness and shame just crammed together.
that's fucking great. Silent Cipher in the chat says I was excited about Starfield, but then I saw the basic ass title menu. I mean, hey, that's some people. That is some people on Twitter,
Some brilliant people.
right? So you got people on Twitter like rushing. Oh, I beat the main story in like 10 hours. Here's my comprehensive review of Starfield. It's like, dude, what did you do? How'd you do that, and why'd you do that? I mean, that sounds terrible. Trying to beat this in 10 hours, but hey,
Yeah, I don't know how you do that and understand what happened.
no, you got to be skipping everything. You didn't listen to a lick of dialogue. If you're just beating this in 10 hours, but yeah, dude, I I, I feel like this game it's weird because I feel like this game is definitely, I mean, it's definitely will be a contender for game of the generation. You figure the generation is what? We're 2023. The generation probably goes to 2027, maybe 2028, maybe. But I feel like this is definitely there. I think Bethesda makes that kind of game. Like, you look at even a game like Fallout 4. Fallout 4 wasn't the game of the generation by any means, but it was definitely in that conversation just because of the amount of legs that game had. Like, that game's probably still in the top 100 on Steam. I know I checked it like a day after Starfield launch. I was just looking at the numbers on Steam. Uh, Fallout 4 is still in the top 100 a day after Starfield launched. I don't know if it is. I don't know if it still is now that the official launch is here, but it's still there. And I think that's the kind of game Bethesda makes, where it's just like, you know, you look at Starfield versus Fallout games that, and I'll get into this in a second, but games that quote unquote don't review well, which is insane because it's sitting at like an 88 or an 86 or something, and apparently 88 or 86 isn't good. Uh, Apparently, which is just a topic I'll get into in a little bit. But they might not review in the 90s or whatever, but in 10 years, people are still playing those games. So this is definitely a contender for a game of the generation, and hopefully we get a few more by the end of the generation as well, because these kind of games are just these games that span the entire generation or generations are just phenomenal, and they rarely ever get old. So it's really good to see, and I'm hoping that's the case. But I wanted to bring up the review scores because for some reason I know you've seen it where it's like people I think people focus too much on scores to the point where all of a sudden an 80s like an at high 80s game on Metacritic just isn't good. Like, this game's not good because it didn't score X number. Like 95. It didn't score 95, it's not good.
Right.
Which is silly. Because like on a 1 to 10 scale, 80 or above is fantastic. Like, that's really really good. But apparently we're at like a point where it's just not. And I don't get that. And I want to get your opinion on it because, I mean, obviously we love the game. Like, that's obvious. We know a lot of people, we talk to a lot of people who love the game. They're enjoying their time with it. Why do you think it's strictly just fanboy shit that folks put so much emphasis on a score from a website because it's usually just Metacritic, and people put like a stupid amount of emphasis on it, an unhealthy amount of emphasis on it. Do you think that's just fanboy stuff?
Not just fanboy stuff, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a mixture of fanboy stuff dash influence dash not really being comfortable giving something a high rating. And I
Mm-hmm.
ask, and I say that because if you look at the games that have came out
Ooh.
throughout this last few years, um, there's only been a very select ones that get in the 90s. Most games that are in the 90s nowadays are remasters and and like a continued piece to an IP. So or remakes or something like that. So if you look at maybe like The Last of Us or Resident Evil 4
Yeah,
or
Resident Evil
Dead
4 is a good one.
Space,
Dead Space another good
um,
one.
Street Fighter,
Mm-hmm.
the recent Street Fighter, Diablo, like
Yeah.
these are all they're new games, but the IP isn't new.
Yes. 100%.
One that made a big splash, and I'm wondering which one is more generational. Because I think Starfield is generational,
Yeah.
but is it going to be Elden Ring generational? That's to be determined,
We'll see.
right?
Yeah.
Because Elden Ring won Game of the Year, and I think it deserved it. I think
Yes.
Starfield deserves to be in the running for Game of the Year as well.
Yeah.
I think it does. I mean, it's going to be hard to argue one way or the other for some people because there's going to be good arguments for both sides. As
Sure.
for like rating wise, and then those people that say, oh, well, if you're going to say rating, keep in mind some of the people that are disingenuous with their rating. There's a lot of clickbait rating going on right now. Um, and and I think that's not just something that started with Starfield. It's just really
Oh, yeah.
relevant with Starfield right now, but it didn't start with Starfield. People did the same. I can guarantee you, people were rating Elden Ring higher than God of War, and barely even played it, Elden Ring.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm
100%.
saying? Just because they wanted to dish it back out to to the PlayStation fans or something.
Yeah, just some
You know,
nonsense.
like bias runs everywhere. As soon as you accuse somebody of it, your own party's guilty of it. You know,
Yep.
so so it is just kind of what it is. But I definitely think it is on that generational level. But as for rating games nowadays, I think rating games is kind of broken. The whole system of rating stuff, in my opinion, is broken. And I don't think it's broken from saying what's a good game versus a bad game because 80s games are still good, right?
Yeah.
But when you have a rating system that also gets pushed in a direction based off of any sort of bias, it's skewed. It's always going to be kind of messy, not right.
Yeah. Dusty,
Um,
what's up?
so I mean that's kind of where I go at it, and then also I kind of put it more at fault to the people that run these kind of award ceremonies or credential things or review sites and whatnot. Like the reason the reason something like gaming or one of the things I used to do for work, like indoor skydiving, the reason that stuff like that can't be taken too serious is because the regulating of it is so everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's not defined enough to be able to say this goes without a shout of a doubt.
Yeah.
Like like a 100-meter dash. There's there's a lot of regulation that goes just within just that part
Yep.
of the Olympic. And it is can't nobody false start. I mean, you get out of your lane, you lose. This is the time. This is the real time. This is you know they have multiple people doing all this crazy stuff. You got multiple races to like signify who's really out here consistently winning, who's the real champ. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like they need like gaming. Like I said, my old job, indoor skydiving. I was an instructor teaching people how to fly. And then people would go and go to competitions around the world. They're trying to get recognized as an Olympic sport at some point, but they can't until they have all these regulations down to the point where it's just safe and or not really exactly safe, but certain to be
Certain. Yeah.
taught this way, to be done this way, to be instructed this way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. hundred
Just like
percent.
football and many other sports. For gaming, it's the same way. Like me and Loke were just talking about just the ability to have a job in gaming, and that the average job lifetime for people that are working in games is 7 years.
Oh.
Ain't nobody getting a retirement check in 7 years.
Yeah. That's a very good statistic to bring up.
So like look at it from the business side. If 7 years and people aren't feeling comfortable or safe, and you look at Microsoft, we can look at our own backyard with Microsoft. If we want to say, hey, we're Microsoft fans, let's look at our own backyard with Halo and having the, you know, cycling in different
Oh,
different workers, having
contractors.
them
Yeah.
on contracts.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff isn't safe. Sure, Xbox is trying to remedy that with then having then having what is it called? Sega just recently did it. Unions, being
Oh
able to
yeah.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
unions, unionizing and stuff like that. That is a direction towards stability.
Definitely.
If
Yeah.
gaming can continue to do that, great. That's good for the business side of it. As for the like reviews and stuff like that, we need we need places like, and this is hard to do because this is just media. So media loves the mess, even if they have to be
Yeah.
part of it. So getting a news service to somehow be bigger than IGN, which IGN is the biggest right now,
Yeah. Without question.
but to get somebody like that to be credible, completely credible,
It's hard, man.
is the only way that we get stuff to be legit. For somebody to come out and say, this is the review process and there's no walking away from it. This is how we rate games. This is the docket.
Yeah.
Look over it and look at your game and check mark. I'm sorry, but that's the only way you're going to get this stuff to be the way that
It should.
to be the way it's supposed to be. It's gonna
That's
have to turn into checkmark stuff. And yeah, that kind of sucks. And it sounds like that's kind of sucking some creativity out, right? Maybe.
sure. Yeah, but it's worth it. In the end, I feel like that's worth it.
But if you want reality based on, I don't know, is this good? Is this not all the time? Like, oh, this got a 67, but like everybody's playing it.
Yeah.
Like like that kind of stuff doesn't make sense. Like McDonald's is horrible food, but they're on top every single time. What are you gonna do when you see the ratings on Google? They're like 4 or 5 stars for McDonald's and stuff like that. Some horrible reviews, obviously, in the hood and stuff like that.
I was about to say, yeah,
But
down
but
there.
but 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 a lot of different a lot of these major fast food companies have high stars.
Yeah,
Should they? Maybe not.
yeah, probably not.
Maybe they should. But if they're doing something right consistently, which they seem to, everyone says they want, and it's just like the community. Everyone wants to say they hate something, but they keep going back to it.
Keep on doing it, and that's a
So do
that's a
you
really good
really hate it?
analogy. Yeah, that's a good analogy to bring up. Honestly, see money in the chat. What's up, Dusty? Saw you guys join. Appreciate you guys.
Oh,
Shiv
see money.
Shiv brought up a point that I swear I've said this before, but it needs repeating. Shiv says I never looked at a Metacritic score before I joined Twitter. Same here. I've I never thought about the website. I honestly didn't know. I've seen it before, but I didn't know it existed for video games. I've never seen that until I joined Twitter. And once you join Twitter, every game that releases, like I remember to prove that it's every game. I remember when Saints Row, the last Saints Row released. I remember seeing the Metacritic score for that plastered everywhere. You can't escape it for any game that releases. And it's nuts because Ham's right that there needs to be some sort of process. There needs to be something reliable that you can trust that is the review. That is the review for the game. And for me that is Steam reviews. For me that's Steam reviews cuz if you get on like if I get on Steam right now and go to Starfield, very positive. That's the review. It's very positive. You go on to Jedi Survivor at launch, whenever it was broken as hell on PC. You get on there, you check it out, overwhelmingly negative. That's the review. Like that's the general consensus from the population who have
I like
actually
that.
bought. Yeah, exactly. That's the general consensus from the population that's actually bought and played the game. Overwhelmingly negative, very positive, overwhelmingly positive. It's all it charts that scale. So that there needs to be something like that. Like that's great for Steam. If you got Steam on your PC and you want to see what a game's really doing, how a game's actually like, that's your best bet. Even if you don't have Steam on your PC, go to the website, type in the game, see what the people are saying in the reviews. That's my gauge for if a game's good, if a game's worth it. But there has to be something like that. There has to be some sort of aggregate out there, and it's gonna take so much time because IGN's just a fucking monster. They're just a monster. And it's not just IGN. It's you got IGN, Kotaku. You got just every single thing that it's hard to just have something come out of nowhere that is the definitive thing all of a sudden. So it's one of those things where I say you can't really pay attention to review scores. You have to find the people you like within the community, the people you trust who have the same taste in games that you have. I say watch videos from these people. Like for me, it's ACG, Mr. Matty Plays. I'll check out Rand every now and then. Although like I watched his review on Starfield, and it's not really my thing because the way he upfront said he played Starfield is not how I would play Starfield, so I can't really relate to it. But for most games, I can. and I'm pretty sure there's one more guy, and I'm blanking on his name, and I can't remember. But I've got like 4 people that I trust with reviews, and I go to those people, and if they tell me the game is good, that means the game is probably really good. I'll probably enjoy it, and that's my thing. Whereas like with a review score, it's just like y- people gave Dan Stapleton shit for that 7 out of 10 for Starfield, and it's like in his review, he ends up saying, "Oh, I actually like the game. It's too big, but I actually like the game." It's like so the game that was sold on being big and expansive, you knocked points for it being big and expansive, but you actually like it. Well, I mean, what are we doing? Why is that? Why is that your review? Why? How'd you come to a 7 out of 10? I don't know. I don't know. And that's why I just wonder. I want to bring that up because I just don't. I think it's silly that we put so much stock into scores on reviews, and it's like it's not healthy. And I thought Shiv brought up a really good point. Like in 2015, when I was playing Dying Light 1, I didn't know what that game scored on Metacritic. All I knew it was like the most fun I had with a game that generation up to that point. That's all I knew for sure. Um, Jedi Survivor still deserved a 10, Matt. Stop lying. Dude, listen, Shiv, Jedi Survivor was phenomenal. I really enjoyed Jedi Survivor. That game was just it was just very very broken in performance mode, and here's the thing though. I got over it. I beat the game with its flaws. In performance mode, I beat it. I still loved it and everything. Story was phenomenal. Combat was phenomenal. I mean, but hey, it's the performance is fixed now. If you ever want to hop in on that new game plus, I'm sure you're gonna do that. Shiv, hop in on the new game plus. Which, if you do, now the performance is fixed. So enjoy yourself, bud. Uh, yeah. C Money says same, Matt. ACG, Mr. Matty occasionally ran. Yeah, like these are the people I go to. Silent Cipher says it's the Microsoft syntax. uh, it does feel like a thing on occasion. That's I think it's worth pointing that out sometimes. I don't think that the Mr. Shivery says Jedi Survivor is my game of the year. I didn't play it on PC though. Feel bad for those folks. Series X ran fine for me besides the occasional bug that any games. Well, I wish I had your experience, Shiv, because I was on Series X. I was on Series X and actually ended up playing more on Series S because like on Series S, it was 30 FPS. It was solid. It was fine. I enjoyed it. On Series X, it gave me the option of a performance mode, and it wasn't performant. It was an issue for me. But back to Cypher with that whole Microsoft syntax thing. I I don't know. Like I think it's hard to prove that the industry is fully biased towards Xbox. I think it's easy to prove that a lot of people are, but I don't think that the industry as a whole it is really biased towards Xbox or against Xbox, I should say. But like you got certain individuals, like Dan Stapleton reviewing Starfield, just seems like a mistake on IGN's part because he obviously isn't cool with Xbox, and he hasn't been, and he's made it very clear that he's not cool with Xbox. So it's like, why would you give him the review code for the biggest Xbox game in many many years? It's a little weird. Uh, but the Microsoft syntax. What are your thoughts on that, Ham? Do you think that's a thing, like a Microsoft tax on reviews?
Yeah,
You do?
I think that
Okay.
is a real thing. Oh yeah, oh yeah, I
Okay.
100% believe that is a thing, and I think that's been a thing ever since Xbox came out. Ever since
Hmm.
Xbox came out to the scene, I think
Okay.
it's kind of had a tax with it and like a y'all versus us type of attitude for PlayStation and its fans. Like, because I remember I had that feeling about Xbox when it first came out. I had a PS2 when the Xbox came out.
Same.
And I was just like, you know what? It just ain't it. Like I can do everything. I can do everything that the Xbox can do. That was my opinion on it. You know, without knowing all the things that Xbox can do, my opinion was it you know it could. It had a DVD player that I didn't need a remote for. That was a big deal at that time.
Yeah, it was.
Remember Xbox? You had to have a remote.
Yep. The,
Um,
the PS2 was like the DVD player for like that was just a DVD player. Everyone had said, "Hey, I have a DVD player," and it was a PS2. That was just the thing that was happening then.
I was I was a big fan of the PlayStation 2 and Grand Theft Auto 3 and
Yeah.
the Onimusha and Dynasty Warriors and I love me some PlayStation 2, the Midnight Clubs and stuff like that, but bro, once I figured out Xbox had that music, bro, that I could put in the video games, like that changed my life. And then I went to Xbox and haven't really looked back ever since. And man, I have had friends. I've had people that I thought were my friends and not want to kick it with me because I wouldn't buy a PlayStation. like for real. I've been disrespected with my with my race because I like Xbox. Yes, real stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, you playing with those white boys on Xbox. Yeah, I've been told that before.
God
Yes,
damn.
I have been told that before. It's wild. It's wild. So I'm getting told that kind of stuff on the street. Do I think that lives in the business too? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. If there's like I hate to even go here, but sure, it's no different than like any kind of bias towards something. If it involves in the street, if it's involved in the street, then it's involved in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. I see you. I see you down the street or whatnot. I might see you at the park, and then I might see you at the McDonald's. I might end up, shaking your hand and saying "Welcome to the team" at my workplace. It all goes together. It all comes together. So, do I think there's some inside bias towards Xbox? 100%, absolutely. I think there is that tax that comes with it. There's those people like that Stapleton person or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
That did his review. I mean, come on, man. Like if that was a PlayStation game, I just don't see it being the same. You saying that you like the game, but giving it kind of a just above average score.
Yeah.
Like I don't see it. I'm seeing people talking about cringy dialogue in Starfield, but love Forspoken.
Oh.
And like I'm seeing all types of stuff that literally just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. The game takes too long to start up, but you loved Persona. Like stop it. Mm-hmm. Like everyone has their excuse as to why this isn't that thing or something like that. And I'm sitting here playing it for myself, and I'm just like, I don't see the issue here. Like, this is wild.
Yeah.
This story is insane. Sure, are there barren planets? Yeah, there are, but there's also planets where I cannot seem to not have stuff to do. I have too much to do. I look at my mission list. I have like 20 missions right now from all over different galaxies. like I'm not bored. There's too much to do. If I get bored doing something in a town, if I get bored making drugs, I can go fight in the stars with other ships. If I get bored with that, I can go shoot some aliens on the ground. If I get bored with that, I can cave crawl.
Yeah.
If I get bored of that, I can try to make relationships, build a ship. There's just too much stuff to do in this game. And I like I said, I don't see where this is too much now in a video game type of attitude. It's big, but we knew that 3 years ago.
Yes.
That wasn't new. When we hear about the new Persona, are we expecting it to be 10 hours?
Oh, absolutely not.
It took me 120 hours to beat Persona 5.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me about a game taking a long time to start up. Do not come at me with that bullshit.
Yeah. That's the thing with this game is like, I feel like it's so easy to say that exact thing. It's taken too long for this game to start. It's like, well, what is starting up for you? Because I remember when the reviews dropped, like I said, the people that I go to for reviews, I checked out their videos. All of them were like, "Yo, the game feels like it doesn't really start for like 10 to 12 hours." And I got on later that night, and I'm like, "Dude, I'm 40 minutes in. This shit started. This shit started. Like once you get your ship, the game is on. Like it's there. It's you're in it at that point." Shiv said he just started Starfield last night. Yeah, man, enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. Hopefully you enjoy it, bud. He says it's cool. There's a lot going on. I switched to Infinite before I got off and fed my newborn. Though, hey, you're a Halo fanatic. I can't really blame you there. I need at some point. I would like to find some balance to play other games, but it's like I'm in that period now where Starfield is just consuming everything. It's like, because I was in the middle of a Halo event pass, and as soon as Starfield launched, I just dropped it. I just dropped everything, man. But yeah.
Well, the thing is this is an RPG, and this is an RPG that gives you the option to go off from the main quest line. Unlike a lot of RPGs that will kind of tell you kind of where to go a little bit, or kind of nudge you in a direction. This game doesn't completely do that. It nudges you, but then it says it's on you if you want to go there. It's up to you if you want to do that. So as for what you were talking about, like you said it 40 minutes, you were all in.
Yes.
And it's taken other people 12 hours. I'm wondering what they did for 10 of those hours.
That's a good question.
That's what I'm curious about. If the game, because I'm going in thinking that some people have like a preconceived notion of the game is supposed to do this by this time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, which one is that? Because I was able to build my ship before 12 hours. I was able to get into fights before 12 hours.
Oh,
I was able just to search random planets before 12 hours. If you're just talking about just the story getting interesting, I'd say that happened kind of early if you were paying attention. And
sure.
And that might be a real issue with this game. We have a society that we live in where we don't have like a
sharp attention span.
Yeah, exactly. So I was telling you about like my daughter, and even me and you playing 2K, where we hit the splash screen and it's spam until we get into the game.
Yep.
And how you can spam your way into spending near $200.
Easy.
So if you take that same thought process and you add it to those people that said they beat the game in 10 hours, they beat the game in whatever, short amount of time. It's then thinking that, man, you didn't really take in the game,
Yeah.
but here you are reviewing it.
Yeah. It's weird, dude. It's weird because it's like, and that's kind of how I felt. Like I brought up Rand. Like I go to Rand for reviews all the time, and like I didn't really vibe with his review on Starfield. Not because like it's not his opinion, because it's his experience. Like, God bless you had your experience in your opinion, and he loved the game. But it's like he's like, oh, the way I played it, it's like, dude, I mainlined the main story. I didn't do any of the other stuff. I'm in. I'm out. I'm done with the game, and I'm just like, that could never be me with this game. That just absolutely could never be me, because I'm in and I'm in, dude, for a long time with this game. Because there's the main story, there's side quests, there's companion quests. You got smuggling activities. Ham said he was cooking drugs the other day on this game. I mean, like, there's so much to do.
Yesterday,
There's so much to do on this game that it's like,
I was cooking it perfect too, man, because they give you a time limit for this specific mission that I'm on. So like you're like and the person wants to see how well that you can cook. And and uh, and bro, like I actually went back and like I saved it at a specific spot. So then like I could see how it was to be cooked, and I messed up completely. And then I went and reloaded the save. And I was like, all right, perfect, perfect, perfect. And I cooked all the drugs perfect. Got me a little bit of change. It was phenomenal. Your boy Khan out here supplying folks. You know what I'm saying?
right, feeding them. That's hilarious. I saw I saw David Durashala ask what are the people saying about Starfield as a whole? What's the general critical consensus? It's I mean, for me, I go to Steam and I see all reviews very positive. Out of 15,000, almost 16,000 reviews, the general consensus is very positive. So that would be the general consensus for me. Everyone seems to be very positive about this game. You got some outliers, people who don't like it, people the game might not be for, and that's fine. But for the most part, everybody's quite positive on this game, which is good to see. Uh, let's see. C Money says I agree, but Rand's reviews show that the main game itself was amazing. So the fact that it does all of those other things well is cake. 100% agreed. Rand stated multiple times that the main story was phenomenal in this game, and so
And
far
it
what I've
is.
played, I'm right there with
The
him. The
main
main story
story
is
is a
nuts.
problem. That
It is.
main story is a problem if you stick to that. But if you do some of the side stuff, it only intensifies the main story. It
Yes.
does, because then you get to thinking about, because the game plays off of morals a lot.
Mhm.
And then when you think about some of the things that you've done as your character, and then the kind of time in the game where you hit a moment of reflection, it's like, God damn. this is it's either something that you're proud of, curious of, or kind of disappointed.
Kind of not very proud of, but
Yeah.
it's it's such a good story, and I'm excited for everyone who's playing to because I know not everyone's playing at the same speed I'm playing, because I'm trying to do like a balance of like, I'm trying to get through the story but do side content, but I'm trying to save a lot of the side content for the new game plus. Is kind of how I'm looking at things right now, but dude, it's just like all firing on all cylinders. The story, they really nailed it. Bethesda did with this one, and
I
that is
don't mean
good to
to
see.
I
So
don't mean to toot my own horn at all, but I
yeah,
was saying for the longest time that this game feels more like Bethesda. This Bethesda game in particular feels like It's more in touch with reality. And I feel like after seeing where I am, that couldn't be any more true.
Yeah. They did a really good job with that. Where I think Fallout 3 is probably my favorite up to this point was my favorite story from Bethesda. Fallout 3 did a really great story, but the setting of post-apocalyptic wasteland, it's it's cool, the story's great, but it's not the same as it doesn't feel the same as space. And that's weird to say because in Starfield, you're in a whole you're on a the main area is on a whole different in a whole different solar system. It's in a whole different system of stars. It's on a whole different planet. It's in a whole new habitat, a whole new environment, and that feels more grounded than, you know, post-apocalyptic wasteland. And because it feels more grounded, the story feels like it means more. Because it feels like you're meeting real characters as opposed to just some psychopaths. Just constant psychopaths in Fallout. It feels like you're meeting real characters that could actually exist right now. Which is kind of refreshing for a Bethesda game. Because that's not the case in Elder Scrolls or Fallout. So, and then Ham. Oh, what's up?
No, I was just gonna say it. Just real quick.
Yeah.
That it really just leans into the whole "who do you trust" aspect. It's weird. Like people that I trusted are maybe to not be trusted, and then there's some people that I did trust that I shouldn't have, but ended up trusting me.
Yeah.
Like it was weird. It's like I trusted them. They went into this to get me, but ended up riding with me instead. And I'm just like, wow. like they can. Oh man, like they confessed, bro. Like it was a wild moment in the game. I was like, yo. I was like, you piece of shit. You almost got me, man. Damn.
It's so well done. Shiv says science fiction has always been a medium to shine light on our reality. It sounds like Bethesda utilized the setting and genre correctly. They did.
Yes,
They
that's
did.
a perfect way to put that, Shiv. Thank you for saying that. That was fantastic.
They absolutely use that setting and genre correctly, and I just can't wait to play more of it. Uh, so David Durashala asked, when was the last time an Xbox exclusive was nominated for Game of the Year, the Game Awards? And I almost said Gears 5, but that wasn't nominated. That was snubbed, I believe. Or quote unquote snubbed. I forget the games that were all there that year, but I felt like Gears 5 probably wouldn't have won. Probably didn't deserve to win that year. But I felt like it deserved to be in the conversation.
Okay, so if you want to talk about as of recent, I'd say Psychonauts 2.
That's right. Actually, that's actually a good point. Psychonauts
Them
2 was there.
and I mean, I wouldn't count it because counting this to me is kind of like Sony counting Returnal, but Deathloop as well.
Oh, yeah.
But that was kind of like, that was kind of pretty much out already. You know what I mean? Before the deal, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. It's a
It's
good
kind of how I
question.
feel about Returnal too, because Returnal actually came out before
They
Sony
were ever
acquired.
bought. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good question because I honestly off the top of my head don't know the last Psychonauts 2 you said was up for Game of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So yeah,
It was
that
that
is
and Deathloop same year, but It Takes Two won it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so Psychonauts 2 would be the answer to that actually. Um and I feel like an idiot because I've said I need to beat Psychonauts 2 so many times and I'm like halfway through and I've never beat it. And everybody in the chat's like,
Psychonauts
"Oh,
2 was so great.
yeah, everybody in the chat's like Psychonauts 2 is amazing." Shiv says it, C Money says it. Sam's told me about it multiple times. I've seen even K
Yeah, man.
Mega
I
talk
told you
about
to
it.
beat it.
I need to
You
I
and
need
K
to
Megan both need to beat the goddamn game because the
Okay, Mega
game is
hasn't beat it.
phenomenal. I don't think K Mega's. I don't quote me. He may have beaten it, but I believe he said he didn't beat it.
I'm gonna go with he didn't beat it, so I'm not the only one who hasn't. So I'm gonna just say that. But yeah, I need to beat it. I'll beat it eventually. That'd be a game for my Steam Deck, honestly. Uh, C Money says Halo is his favorite franchise of all time. Halo's, yeah, probably my favorite franchise in entertainment, not just gaming, just in entertainment in general. Probably would be my favorite franchise. Even with its ups and downs throughout its twists and turns, we'll say throughout the years, still probably my favorite franchise in entertainment. Um, man, but dude, anything else you want to talk about this week? Because I got to be honest with you, Ham. I'm sat here listening to the Starfield music. It's playing, and I'm at the main menu, bud, and I'm ready to go. But I don't want to just rush up out of here if there's like actual things I'm missing.
I
Uh,
mean, there's definitely some things that you could be missing, but I
I don't
mean,
know.
it is what it is. NBA 2K24 is going to be coming out soon. Are you getting that at,
Oh,
at launch, Matt?
oh, did it? I thought it launched today, didn't it?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I think it did. I'm looking at
Yeah,
it right now. So,
yeah. I'm not getting that right now.
come
I'm
on, man. Day
I'm
one, you don't want to be
I,
that guy.
I'm sorry, but I'm not getting that right now. I got two. There's Starfield to play. I'll get
You
that
bought
Black
NBA
Friday.
2K the last couple of years, like on launch day, right?
Yeah,
What's going on, bud?
Starfield wasn't out the last couple
You
of years.
you want to know one other thing that I'd like to just kind of breeze over while we're here, since
Yeah.
we have everybody just kind of hanging out with us. I'm kind of interested in knowing if you're ready to take 19 inches of venom.
That was one of the best tweets I've seen. Dude, I saw I saw a video too. I wonder if I bookmarked it, but it was like a meme. It's like after you take 19 inches of venom, and this dude was walking funny. This dude was
Oh my
walking
god.
funny. I wish I could find that, man. But dude, that was a wild tweet. In fact, I'm about to type it in here. PlayStation UK. They didn't delete it, did they? I hope it's still up. 18 inches of venom. Come on. Yes, it's still up. Let's go. I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna bring it up on my on the stream here so you guys can see it. In case you haven't seen it yet for some reason. Here we go. PlayStation UK tweets, treat yourself to 19 inches of venom and more. I didn't even know there was an and more. And more with Marvel's Spider-Man 2 Collector's Edition. You can pre-order it here. 19 inches of venom is just a diabolical thing to tweet. And honestly, they good for them. They knew exactly what they were doing, and it got the engagement that they thought it would get. Because 73,000 likes basically they got, 19K quote tweets, 8,000 retweets. Dude, I'm gonna look at some of these quote tweets real quick because I'm sure these are just diabolical. IGN even quote tweeted it and did numbers. Did you see that?
Nuh-uh.
I'll bring this up right here on stream. It says me on my way to get those 19 inches, and it's Peter Parker like dancing down the street. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, dude. Hey, one thing you can never knock PlayStation for is marketing, and you could say that's some stupid marketing, but that is hilarious, and it's doing numbers, and people are talking about it. They're
Oh,
fucking great at that.
I thought it was absolutely perfect. I thought it was a great
Yeah,
I thought it was a great tweet for a few different reasons. I thought it was great because Sony is good at what they do. They're good at marketing.
yes,
You know
very
what?
good at it.
You know what they're also really good at? Dicking down their customers. They're really good at that. They're fucking phenomenal at that. And
Especially
and
lately.
and if I've heard anything this generation, it is you're gonna pay more for stuff that some other people are getting for either cheaper or flat out free.
Yeah,
So I mean, that's I actually don't knock Sony too much of it, and it's for this for the same thing that Cozy said. You know, if they're
yeah.
gonna pay for it, just do it.
Let them
Why
pay.
not, man? Who am I? Who am I to like if somebody's if I'm selling a bottle of water for $1 and then I find myself, oh crap, I need a little bit more funds for whatever. So then I start selling the bottle for $5. Who am I to be mad that you're still paying for
Yeah, yeah. If you're gonna buy it, then hey, the water's $5 now. That's just the way it is. I mean,
it?
I mean, and if you're still happy and thrilled about it, it might go up to $6 or $7. Like, why not? Why the hell not? David Dershall in the chat says Xbox needs to improve their marketing. That's something, dude. That we've been saying that for years, man. I don't know what it is about the marketing, and I'm hoping they learn something. It's weird to say. I'm hoping they learned something from Bethesda with their marketing cycle they just did for Starfield. And here's the thing: you look at that marketing cycle for Starfield, it wasn't that crazy. Because remember last month at this time, me and you were on the show talking about like, dude, I don't know what's going on with Starfield's marketing, but it's like non-existent right now. And then you said it on the show, like, but I feel like maybe it's about to start picking up. And it picked up. And it picked up in part due to, Bethesda doing their thing, but it also picked up with like things out of Microsoft or Bethesda's control. Like someone on their phone just recording Post Malone saying, "Fuck yeah, I'm going to play Starfield." Like that's huge marketing almost that could have easily not happened. That's huge marketing for that game though. To
Right.
have Post Malone just be like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna play Starfield. I'm gonna play the shit out of that game." And then you've got celebrities like comedians like Bobby Lee, one of my favorite comedians. Like he'll go on a podcast and he'll just talk about like Elden Ring, and then as of late he's talking about Starfield. He's talking about being hyped for Starfield. He's like, it's the only thing I'm gonna play for like weeks and weeks and weeks. You got that kind of marketing for your game. It's like maybe you can sit back on this specific case and be like, hey, we'll just let it take care of itself. But in general, I agree with David Durashala. The marketing for Xbox does need to improve. I feel like they're too focused on like Game Pass, which is like understandable. That's their thing. That's what they do. That's like their Trojan horse to get people into their ecosystem. So it makes sense. But it's like when you got a game like Starfield, when you got a game like when Elder Scrolls 6 comes around, when like Avowed, when all these games start coming around like that, it'd be nice to see if you're gonna do a Game Pass commercial, focus entirely on Avowed, focus entirely on Hellblade, and then at the end of it you can say, hey, but there's also way more games. But like focus on the specific games that are in the zeitgeist right now to push so that like people understand that it's not just Game Pass. It's actually specific things that do matter. But yeah, do you have any thoughts on that, Mike? I almost called you Mike. God damn. What the hell? But yeah, do you have any thoughts on that? Their Xbox's marketing. What do you think they can do to improve their marketing? Do you think it needs improved?
Um, I still think there's some improvement that needs to be made just for some shock and awe out of them, for
Hmm.
sure. Um, I think I like I don't want them to rely too much on the sneak attack. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I feel like Starfield was kind of a sneak attack, right? Because it's
Yeah.
kind of Bethesda. They have their own, they got their own oxygen tank over there, right? Um, Hi-Fi Rush, that's a sneak attack.
Oh, yes. 100%.
Halo, that was a sneak attack. Dropping them for the 20th anniversary, sneak attack.
Oh, that's right. With the multiplayer. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. I don't want them just to keep relying on the sneak attack. You got to go out there and just kind of be proud and say what you got to say. Lay it all out there. Be confident. Don't
Hmm.
quit sneak jabbing and doing all this stuff. Just throw that shit on the table, bruh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just let them know.
Let it hang.
Quit. Yeah, just let it hang, bro. But I mean, they they really like to do these kind of like sneaky, kind of hinty. Like Sarah Bond does it all the time on her account.
Yeah, those emojis.
Yeah, just with the emojis and stuff like that, and people love it, right? But like Sarah Bond, like I feel like y'all could do a lot more with just being out there and louder.
Yeah.
Just in my opinion, I mean, in this game, Starfield, it's a great game. I don't know if it's the kind of game that you can just walk around and market all over the place because it's a long game. It's a very long game. It's a
Yeah.
very deep game. It's a game that you need to play by yourself, kind of locked in a room. You know what I mean?
For a month.
Um, yeah. A game like Hellblade to me could be that game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's pretty straightforward. This woman's bad shit crazy, and she came to fuck shit up. Like that. Like that is
Hmm.
that. You know what I'm saying? Halo's the same way. Master Chief's in the building, fucking shit up.
100%.
Very simple, straightforward. You just hand somebody the controller and they get down. That's it. They
Yeah,
need
it is.
something like that. So like,
Oh my
and
god.
I think and I honestly think they could still do that with Halo. I still think they could do that to this day with Halo. They just kind of gotta have some fun with it. Quit being so tight with it. I feel like you just need to let the, as K Megan Sir X man say, let the mogul out. Just let it, just let it do its thing, man. Give people the opportunity just to have fun with the IP.
Yeah.
Find another, place for it to land and stand on its own again instead of just
Yeah.
relying on story MP. Story MP. If you want this thing to be like what Mario is or what Pokemon is or what any of these big, IPs that are just they can just like morph into something else and fit Sonic, any of that stuff. If you want it to be like that, you can't be so structured in how it's put together. Sure, it's cool to remain with that structure, but then you're kind of closing yourself off. I like what they're doing with Doom. They got Mighty Doom on Android. They got Mighty
Yeah.
Doom out there doing some
Yeah.
crazy stuff on Android phones and stuff. Like, bro, take advantage. Take
Yeah.
advantage of having the IP being so well known by so many people. Go out there, do some shit that I might not play it, but a ton of other people might, and that will continue to fund that money right back into maybe what you want it to be.
Definitely. I feel like for Halo it's like, especially now, I think 343, after kind of not being in an awesome place, I feel like they've got the leadership, they got the people in place to where I feel like this is a team that you can just let them I feel like they need to let themselves just do what they want to do. I trust. I trust. I forget his name. I feel bad for forgetting his name, but Pierre, the dude who's like the head of 343 now. I trust that dude enough. That dude saved Halo MCC. MCC was a wreck when it launched, and because of him, not only is it not a wreck anymore, it's like one of the best service games you can play. It's just that simple. So I trust that leadership enough for them to be like, yo, we want to do this. We understand it might be different from what you expect, but trust us. Just let us do it, and we'll see how it goes. But I want them to start like being like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. It might upset some. Yeah, Pierre Hentz or Pierre Heinz. I'm not entirely sure how to say that, but yes, I trust that guy so implicitly with Halo that if he has a vision for that studio, I trust it's going to be the right vision. Shiv, the
I
Halo
mean, it's
fan,
2 games now. It's 2 games now that he's did this to.
he's
Two
turned it
games.
around hard.
Master
Hard.
Chief Collection and now Infinite. And that's 2 games I know of. He might have done this with others.
Sure,
But the
yeah.
2 games that are notable that I know that he's done that to, he brought back the resurgence with Master Chief Collection,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still doing fine. Master Chief
Oh, yeah.
Collection is fine.
Yes, 100%.
There are times where there are times it might even be relevant to say that I don't even know the numbers offhand. Maybe you could look those up, Matt.
Yeah,
But
let me look
there are
up.
times where Master Chief Collection is doing better than Infinite.
Yeah, it's still that kind of buzz for Master Chief Collection.
That type of relevancy is insane, and that's it. And that's why I'm saying instead of them always doing what they're kind of have done the last few times around with Master Chief, that being 343, is trying to create a future for Chief. Instead, I'm like, man, can you please dive back into like the ground soldiers and stuff like that again? Like, I want to see some ODST. I want Chief to go dormant for a little bit, so when you get him back, it's like, yo.
Mm-hmm.
I want that type of stuff. I want to see some side stuff going on, just like you did with Sonic when you got a whole ass Knuckles game. You got to do some other weird stuff. Luigi's Mansion. You know what I'm saying? Like give me something on the side that could be and don't even involve Chief. Maybe just have something from Chief, like a message from him at the end of the game if you beat it. Like if you beat it once, or a legendary ending with Chief in it,
Yeah.
or something like that. But then just keep the base game just like specifically with these soldiers that ended up maybe helping Chief get to be able to infiltrate this spot because we hit it first. We were the front line or something like that.
Yeah. I agree with that. Shiv in the chat says the Halo Infinite campaign was amazing and it gets dragged down by the bad press generated by multiplayer. I agree with that. Dude, I see people hate on the Halo Infinite campaign.
Yeah,
And
I like the Halo Infinite campaign.
yeah, I
I
don't
just want to
get
see
it.
him go away from Chief. That's all.
Yeah, sure. I get like I don't get people hating on that campaign. It's like it was it was the best that they've it was the best, most cohesive one. Granted, I Halo 4 is my favorite campaign for Halo, just in general. But the Infinite one was so damn good. And it felt like playing Halo 3 again, campaign wise. It just felt like that kind of tone. It was really, really well done. As for what Ham is saying, I agree. I mean, I feel like as big of an IP as Halo is, I feel like it's a disservice to only have 343 working on it. Now that doesn't mean 343 they're the Halo team. They do Halo. That's what they do. Let them do Halo. But like you look at Star Wars, like EA does Star Wars. You'll get like companies outside like Ubisoft is doing Star Wars crap. I forget, but the new Star Wars open world game. Like
Mm-hmm.
You got multiple studios working on different things for one IP. I feel like it'd be smart or in Microsoft's best interest to let that happen because it's like Chief is a fucking badass character, but there was a particularly badass feeling to ODST, and Chief wasn't a part of ODST. That's not to say that the game's better because Chief isn't in it, but it's just it's good
It
on its
gives it
own.
a little dynamicness.
Yes, it's good on its own merit because it's
I don't know if
like
that's really a word, but yeah,
well, yeah, it makes it dynamic. It's
more dynamic.
yeah, it is what it is. But it's like it it's badass because you don't have the power, you don't have the strength that you normally have, and ODST makes sure that you feel that way. And because you feel that way, whenever you run into a brute with Master Chief, you're like, let's fuck this thing up. Whenever you're playing on like heroic or legendary on ODST by yourself and you run into a brute, that's not your attitude. That is absolutely not your attitude. You're like, okay, can I sneak around this thing? Maybe I do fight it. If I do fight it, let me look for vantage points. Let me see if there's ammo. Like, you're looking for all sorts of stuff to get the advantage on that enemy, as opposed to with Master Chief. I run in there like a boss. I don't care if I'm on legendary or not. I'll fuck him up. Like, that's just my feeling, especially in Infinite because the sandbox is so fucking like all the tools you get. It's just like you're almost unstoppable. That's how it feels in that game. But yeah, man, like there's so many studios who could do like if there's no reason Halo shouldn't have stuff like horror games, shouldn't have stuff like strategy games, like Halo Wars. Halo Wars, people love Halo Wars. Not my thing, but people love it. Like there's no reason that they shouldn't have. There's no reason there shouldn't be an RPG for Halo. Like what?
Man,
It's been 20 like over 20 years. We that should be a thing by now. It's
facts.
and it's like I get that 343 probably doesn't want to do a Halo RPG, but somebody does. Somebody has that idea somewhere, and they're ready to make that game for you. So it's like I feel like we need to start treating Halo like Star Wars. It's that big of an IP. It can be that big of an IP. All you got to do is treat it like that, and it will happen. It's just like 343 is great at doing what they do, especially now. I feel like the team is great at doing what they do, but like it can't just be up to that team. It really can't be because that's unfair to them. Because that IP is too damn big. It's too damn
I
big
wouldn't
for one
mind.
team.
I know this is like a sour name to hear right now, but like if you take them for what they're good at, I'd love to see a date with these two individuals together. And that is 343 with Arcane.
Hmm. Arcane could
I'd
do
love to
some
see
wild shit.
I'd love to see what kind of and I know that sounds wild because of Redfall recently, but I'm thinking
Yeah.
back on Dishonored
Yeah.
and
That.
some of like the stealth elements within that game and stuff like that with a basic character from Halo where you're just trying to escape or something
Yes.
like that. You're
No.
just trying to escape or get the hell to the you know to just to a safe zone or some type of story that resembles maybe what happened in the Halo TV show where they're showing that woman that ended up getting chained up to the bike.
Hmm.
Give me a story of like something like her where she's trying to escape and get the hell out, or you know that family is going through some turmoil.
Yep. Give me.
I'd like to see something like that.
Yeah, dude. Give me like behind. You could do. You could make it an ODST, or even better yet, make it a Marine. Just make it a regular ass Marine. You could do a Marine captured by the Covenant, and then you have to escape. That would that would be like that would be your stealth game. That would also be your horror game. If you're just a single
That sounds a
Marine
little
on
Dead Spacey.
yeah, if you're just a single Marine on a Covenant ship, that would be fucking intense. That could be a really really fun game. But stuff like that, man, like 343 does what they do and they do it well, but like give it like let some other studios do some things with it, or just like let them pitch things to you. Just like throw the IP out there and see if anybody has anything worth, latching onto, and let them do it if they do. Because I feel like it's such a big IP, but it could be so much bigger, and it's kind of a
Or
disservice.
or hey, Obsidian even, wouldn't that be
Obs-
nuts?
Obsidian, there we go. A Halo RPG. Obsidian would be perfect for that. Would be perfect for that because that's what they do. They're fucking great at RPGs, and they're a great.
After seeing what they did with Fallout, I don't see why they couldn't do that with
Exactly.
Halo.
And it's like they don't even. What's great about Obsidian is like maybe you just want to test the waters with a different kind of Halo game. They don't need to make the biggest grand. Like they're not trying to make fucking Starfield. They're like make something the size of Outer Worlds, but make it the Halo IP and make it a Halo story. I feel like that could be great. And it also, you look at Outer Worlds, the cost of producing Outer Worlds compared to other something like Starfield, it's probably quite a bit less. Let them work with what they can. Let them work with what they have, but like just make a small RPG and see how it goes. I feel like
I like what C Money is saying. He's saying I need my Halo Starfield, and I tell you what, if they did what Hogwarts did, I think they could do something like that, where it's way before Chief or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, 100%. And it's frustrating because it's like you think of stuff like this and how awesome that would be, and it's just like, please, somebody,
Like
anybody.
Arbiter situation somewhere
Oh,
else.
ooh,
And how you were like someone like the Arbiter or something, where you seemed good but your team was on some evil BS, and at the end of the game you die and the story continues with them being evil,
ooh, yeah,
and that sentiment is passed to the Arbiter or something like that, to where he is thinking, maybe I have a good side to me at some point,
yeah,
or I come from a lineage of somebody that had some sort of good in them.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Like that's
I
that's
haven't read all
another
the Halo books, but that's just an idea.
dude. I bought a bunch of Halo books. I've never read them. I've never been like into reading. The only time I've read things is when I had to for school. But I bought tons of books. I bought like tons of books for Halo. There's a there's another series I bought a ton of books for, but I just never read them. But like Arbiter's another character that's just like that's like without a doubt the best character in Halo for me is Arbiter. And it's just nuts that we don't have like he doesn't have his own game. That's nuts to me. I guess you could say Halo 2 is kind of his own game, but it's not because Chief like it's Chief and Arbiter's game. But like get us an Arbiter game that's Arbiter focused only. That would be a badass game. That character is dope. But yeah, dude, we just talked. We started with Xbox marketing, and then we just delved into and Halo and what Halo could do. And honestly, I mean, they could do so much. Shiv saying that's exactly what I was saying, Matt. Let's have an Arbiter, dude. An Arbiter game would be phenomenal. That's all I'm gonna say because that character is just so like that character is so dope and so badass. It's like that character is like as badass as Chief for me, but it's a lot more well up until Infinite at least because Chief was quite human in Halo Infinite. Even in Halo 4 he was quite human. But like Arbiter feels more human than Chief in a lot of ways. And it would just
I
be a
felt like
really dope.
Arbiter was just Chief for the Covenant.
Yeah. Very.
That's literally what I felt like he was, because it was just like, because Chief goes through the bullshit that he goes with his squad, right?
Mhm.
He doesn't like some of the ideas and in some of the things that they're trying to do. Arbiter is no damn different.
Yeah. Yeah, I think of that part in Halo 4. I forget what his name is, that asshole captain. Surrender that AI! It's just. And Chief's like, fuck that shit, dude. But yeah, dude. Hard Days Mike, Halo needs to be treated like more like a whole universe rather than a linear. Yes, 100% agreed. It deserves that kind of treatment. It definitely deserves that kind of treatment. But yeah, dude, we actually I thought we were gonna end the show early. We actually ended up going over just having that conversation, which is nice. I'm not mad at that. That was a really good conversation. But yeah, anything else you want to add before we get up out of here or head into the intros? I guess outros. God damn, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you are. No, I'm good to go. I'll just go right into my outro right now. So,
Go ahead.
thanks everybody for coming and chilling with us on the Two Player Podcast with me and Matt Likes Games. Um, if you want to continue to follow me, check out my channel, TSWS Gaming. I got a show tomorrow with Post Up. That will be Behind Them Sticks. You know, the show I do one-on-one with people.
Yeah.
That should be a fantastic show. And then on Friday, we got Bull sitting with me, Matt Likes Games, Loke, Cozy Beluga, and whoever Loke decides to add as our guests if we even have one. So make sure you guys check us out over there, TSWS Gaming. If you want to follow me on Twitter at HamSolo05Game.
Yep. I'm gonna drop it in the chat too because I don't have it in the description because I blanked my mind when I was getting the stream back up and running. But I'm gonna drop Ham's channel in the chat, and I'm also gonna drop his Twitter link in the chat for you guys to check out. But definitely go check those out. As for myself, you can check me out here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mondays and Fridays are videos at 11 a.m. Eastern. Wednesday, I do this show with Ham Solo 11 a.m. Eastern every week, so check that out. As for my Twitter, you can head on over to twitter.com/MattLikesGames and check me out over there as well. But with that being said, we're going to hop up out of here and we will see you guys